Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we have my favorite videos to make, by far my favorite videos to make. Two reasons: towing test and comparisons of one manufacturer to the other. So we have a 2019 F150 and a 2019 Ram 1500. We have the 3.5 EcoBoost versus the 5.7 Hemi. For both of these manufacturers, this is sort of their flagship engine. The 3.5 sort of has taken over the leading sales. The EcoBoost engine has for sure. It's their torque monster. 475 foot-pounds of torque, 375 horsepower, 395 horsepower in the Ram, 405 torque. So lots more torque, a little bit less horsepower in the Ford, but we'll see how that does for towing. It would be nice to have the 5-liter Coyote versus the 5.7 Hemi, but it's not what we have. We have my father-in-law's truck versus my father's truck. So the most recent video I put out was like just a walk around and then driving review, fuel mileage review of both trucks. So I'll post that at the end. If you guys missed that, check that out. But for now, I'll show you what we got going on. So yeah, here we go. 2019 Ford F150 XLT. We are towing a 12x7 enclosed trailer with two big 14 kilowatt generators with fuel in the front. We've got a 850 Can-Am 850 Outlander, just like that one, in the back of this trailer. The trailer itself, we're at about 2,200 pounds. Each of those generators with the fuel is about 400, so that's 800. So we got 3,000 pounds, and those are about 800 pounds. So we are getting close. We're pretty much right at 4,000 pounds is what we're going to be towing. And you can see this is squatting a bit. There's a lot of tongue weight because both of those generators with the fuel are right in the front of that trailer. So there is a lot of tongue weight. So I was waiting for my camera to recharge. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the squat test backwards. So I'm going to check right now what it is. And then when I get back, I'll check. And I'll do the same thing with the Ram. So we'll get an idea of what truck squats more, you know, how they feel. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna go on a loop. We're gonna go on a mileage loop. We're gonna hit some hills. We're gonna check out to see, you know, how the truck does for handling, braking, all that sort of stuff. So you guys can get a good idea of the 150 versus the 1500 when it comes to towing. I think this is a pretty average weight for what these trucks should be towing. You know, you got your bike, get your snowmobile. Half tons are made for that sort of thing. They're not made to tow heavy weights. These manufacturers are going crazy with the tow ratings on these things. This is what they're made to do. So let's check and see what the height is on this thing right now. All right, so right now, right to the ground, straight up through, we're at 36 3/8. Yeah, 36 3/8 is what we're at right now. So 36 3/8. So we'll have to see what we get when we come back. We're getting ready to take off in the 150. I just reset all the counters. We'll pull out here and see how she does. All right, so we are on the road and I can definitely feel the truck knows the tongue weight. That's for sure. It is squatting, there's no doubt about that. We'll see how much it squats when we get back. But yeah, there is a lot of tongue weight on this right now because there's a lot of weight at the front of that, on the front of that truck. It's definitely not over its payload by any means, but there is, you know, if I was going to tow for a long distance, I would, you know, definitely make sure that the majority of the weight is over the actual axles of the trailer. So it does feel it. It does notice that there is weight back there. I can tell you that right from the get-go. So we will see what we get for mileage. The advantage of this truck versus the Ram, I will tell you right now, is that this truck does have a built-in trailer brake controller. The Ram does not. So that is an advantage of this truck right off the get-go. So we're gonna go up, get on the high. We'll do that same loop that I did yesterday. I am in tow haul mode. We'll do the same loop that I did in the previous video with the comparison, and we'll see, you know, how each truck does. So we're gonna get on the highway here when we get a chance. Give this thing a little bit of juice and see how she does. But I can tell you right now from that little drive already that the engine has no issues with this whatsoever. I mean, we are only at 4,000 pounds, so the engine's not going to struggle at all. So here we are. I'm not into this thing really at all, and it's getting up to speed, no problem. We're already up to speed. The truck accelerates very smooth, very easy. I was not really attempting to get up to speed very quickly. I didn't have much in the pedal there at all, and it just did it with no problems whatsoever. The big thing with this amount of weight, it's not the weight, it's the trailer. You know, the enclosed trailer catches a lot of wind. So that's where, you know, it makes it harder on fuel. It does make the engine work a bit harder compared to just weight. You know, like this is basically the same weight as if I was towing my dump trailer, and my dump trailer would tow 100 times easier than what this would. So once we get down here, we're gonna hit those same bumps that we hit in the previous video, and we'll see how the suspension feels. Feels very nice, you know, driving on the road. There is a little bit of, you know, I can feel the trailer back there, but not too bad at all. It does feel pretty good. All right, here's the bumps. Oh, very nice. You handle that very good. Those are some pretty bad bumps right there. And the truck handled it good. The trailer didn't, you know, start to swim it around at all. It felt very, very nice. More bumps. This road's absolutely terrible. It does have that little bit of, you know, hucking and bucking for sure. Once it starts to go up and down a bit, it does continue to sort of rock the boat, but not bad, not bad. So I'm gonna get up to speed and we'll hit the cruise. We'll go do our loop and we'll see how she makes out on fuel. These EcoBoost, when you put weight behind them, when you start towing, they are known to chew through fuel fairly quickly. Once those turbos are spooling up, you are chewing through some fuel. So we'll see how this thing makes out. All right, we are halfway through our trip. I'm gonna loop around. Right now we are at 25.7 kilometers, and we are at 21.2 liters per every 100. I'm actually pretty impressed with that mileage so far. I had a 2014 F150 with the 3.5 EcoBoost, and at that time it was the 6-speed transmission, and that thing was a pig on fuel when I hooked up a trailer to it. This seems like that 10-speed is definitely helping it, but it's funny about that 10-speed. It seems like when you put tow haul mode on, which you always should, it limits the transmission to 8. Because not once during that trip did it go over 8th gear. Even like right now, I'm driving slightly downhill and it's in 8th. And I actually, during the drive, I actually took it off of tow haul and put it on normal mode, right on the straightaway right here, and it instantly shifted up to 9th and then 10th. So it seems like while you are in tow haul, it limits the transmission to an 8-speed transmission. So that's interesting. But so far, it's doing really good on fuel. The engine has loads of power. The engine doesn't really even care that that trailer is back there, like at all. You do feel, it does feel a bit squammy in the back, but guys, I have a Ford F550, I have an F350 and an F250 with airbags. That's what I use to tow with. I'm used to a heavy duty truck with a heavy duty suspension. You know, just a big heavy truck is what I'm used to for towing these identical trailers with. This is the first time that I've towed one of these trailers with a half-ton since I got rid of my Tundra, and my Tundra had airbags in the back. So it's a different feeling for me, but you hear people talk all the time and say when they got half tons and they're towing these big friggin' campers and stuff, and they're saying that they don't, oh yeah, you don't even know it's back there. Well, you know, what else have you towed? Like, what else have you towed with? I tow with Super Duty trucks. I tow with heavy duty trucks. So, you know, I'm used to that. I'm used to that. So I'm used to like not knowing what a trailer feels like back there. You can definitely tell the trailer's back there. The truck feels completely stable and completely planted. I don't feel any unnerve at all. Like it does feel great. I'd have no problem going on a long road trip hauling this trailer with this truck whatsoever. I'm just used to, you know, the Super Duties, and basically it's nothing back there. Engine wise, power wise, braking wise, handling wise, you honestly don't know what's back there. Right now it's doing very good. I'm really impressed with this truck. I'm really impressed with the transmission. The transmission is super smooth. I was also worried, you know, with the 10-speed, which seems like it's an 8-speed when you're towing, that there'd be a lot of shifting and it would be non-stop shifting, and that would drive me crazy. But I can tell you that it is extremely smooth, which makes me even more excited to get in my 2020 Super Duty. I can't wait to try that with that new 10-speed. So we have one big hill that we're gonna hit on the way back, and I'm going to record that in both trucks. And then when we get back, I'll switch the trailer over, load up to the Ram. Well, first I'll check to see what the squat was. Load up the Ram, we'll do the same thing. All right, so there is the big hill we're gonna be going up here in a second. This is the same hill that I towed when I did the 250 towing my 350 and my gooseneck. This is the same hill. It seems to hold its speed going downhill quite well. The tow haul does a pretty good job of holding the truck back. So let's see. We're in 8th gear right now. We just dropped down 2 gears, so we just dropped down to 6. And that's what I've been finding as well, as it basically skips 7th gear and goes straight to 6th. So it's not like it's going down through every individual gear and it's trying to guess and figure out where it needs to be. It just instantly dropped 2 gears, so you don't even notice it. Like you notice the shift down, but you're not noticing, you know, It's just one shift and that's it. And it's holding its speed in 6th. No problem whatsoever. That is a nice thing about the Fords. It does give you the indicator and shows you what gear you're in. Yeah, 6th gear is its sweet spot for sure. We're at about 2,900 RPM, getting close to 3. That is the sweet gear right there. That's like 4th gear in, you know, my Super Duty. 4th gear, even 5th gear in my Super Duty. And there, it actually did go to 7th. So it actually did go to 7th on the way up. Now it's an 8th. I didn't even feel that. Like, I did not even feel that shift at all. Very smooth. All right, guys, so we'll see what the numbers are when we get back. All right, we are back. Okay, so this time it's 51.7. The last video, it says 51.5, and we're at 23 liters per every 100. So let's go out, unhook the trailer, and we'll see how much this thing squatted. Hey guys, so we are off the ball. So no weight is on the truck. Let's take a look. So we are now at 39. So we were at 36 and 3/8 before. We're at 39. Basically 2.5 inches is what it dropped. So let's hook up to the Ram. We'll do the exact same thing. All right guys, so we are all hooked up to the Ram. She definitely squatted. I will definitely say that she did squat. Remember guys, there's a lot of tongue weight here. This is not how I would set up a trailer to go on a long road trip with. There is a lot of tongue weight compared to, you know, your typical trip. There's more tongue weight here than what you would normally set up, for sure. But she's still looking nice. I will tell you one thing, that the Ram hitch is quite a bit higher in the back than what the Ford is. I did bring my hitch up 1 notch, and I still had to raise the trailer compared to where it got off of the Ford. So let's take a look at what we got right now for a measurement. Right now we are at 35.5. So we're at 35.5 right now. Let's jump in, we'll go for a drive, and we'll see what we get when we get back. We'll see how this thing does. All right, let's get on the highway here when we got a chance. Okay, let's give her a little acceleration. I'm not into it. Feels very good. Sounds very good. I'm not on it, so it's holding its gear quite a long time. There, shifted. I will say that the Ford with that EcoBoost got up to speed much easier, obviously quieter, and you know, sort of less going on than what this truck did. This truck definitely did it. I was not trying to get into it really at all. Both trucks have more than enough power, but the Ford definitely did it easier. I will say that. The EcoBoost is just so full of torque. It just has so much torque. And you can notice it. Like, you really, really can notice it. So when we get down here, we'll hit those same bumps that we hit with the 150. I love how this truck handles. Like, I really, really do. I definitely find this truck feels more planted to the road than what the 150 does. And it feels more like, honestly, it feels a bit more like my Super Duties than what the 150 does. I find it just feels wider and more, just holds its track better in the road than what the 150 does. We're gonna hit these bumps and we'll see how that goes. So one sec. Both trucks feel pretty similar. I think that this truck feels, again, once the trailer does start bouncing a little bit, this truck feels a little bit more stable than what the 150 did. But both trucks handle no problem. I do definitely prefer the handling of this truck compared to the 150. So we're gonna set our cruise. And we'll see how we make out. But yeah, you know you got a Hemi, you know you got a V8 in this truck compared to that 150 for sure. All right, look familiar? Here we are getting ready to loop around. With no trailer brake controller, this thing feels really good when it comes to a stop. I'm actually really impressed with that. It's been forever since I've driven a truck that doesn't have a built-in trailer brake controller, or even an aftermarket one, but it feels good. So far, we are at 24 liters per every 100, which is a bit less, or you know, a bit worse than what the Ford was saying. So let's get on it a little bit. Sounds good. I miss my V8. The V8 last V8 that I owned was my Tundra, and I miss that sound. That is for sure. We are up to speed. Get on the highway. Get our cruise back set. Ready to go. So far, we're doing a little bit worse on mileage, but again, this is just what the truck's saying. It's the only way to do a complete accurate test would be to do a pump-to-pump test, and I'm not doing that right now. So we're just going off what the truck says. So this truck could actually be saying it's doing worse than what it actually is. Could be saying it's doing better, and the Ford could be doing the same thing. So the only way really to know is to do a pump-to-pump test. But so far, I like the driving dynamics of this truck. Just like when it didn't have a trailer on it, I prefer this truck. You know, like letting your hand off the steering wheel, I feel more confident in this truck than I do in the 150, if that makes really any sense at all. I love the steering in this truck. I really do. I know I'm repeating myself, but I really like how this truck feels. Transmission is very smooth. We're gonna be hitting that same hill that I hit in the 150. So we're gonna hit that same hill. We'll see, you know, how it does on the hill. It's definitely gonna be making a lot more noise than what the EcoBoost did. Not gonna be able to tell you what gear it's in. I could probably start to try to count the gears down, but there's no indicator. But it's definitely gonna be, you know, letting you know that it's working compared to what the Ford does. Not saying it's working harder than what the Ford did, but you're gonna know it more. All right, so here we go. Going down this, going back up the big one. We'll see how this thing does. The Ford did this without really any effort at all. I predict this truck will do the same. It will just make a little more noise while it's doing it because it's a naturally aspirated V8 that sounds great. It's not a drone at all. It sounds great. You guys can hear it. So here we are right now. I'd say we're in 5th gear. It's hard to say though. Just popped. We are at the top. So yes, the truck lets you know that it's doing something compared to the Ford, just because the Ford's so quiet. But no problems whatsoever. Super, super strong. As of right now, it is doing, you know, worse on fuel than what the F150 was, according to the trucks. So we'll see, when we get back, we'll see what the final number is, and I'll let you guys know, what do I think? If I was given the choice of taking one truck and going on a road trip with this trailer, which one would I pick? All right, guys, so we're back. 24.7, 52.2 kilometers. So something's off there, but which truck? But anyway, so according to the trucks, the Ford was easier on fuel. So let's see how much this thing squatted. Guys, the weight is off. I believe we were at 35.5 before. So let's see. Now we're at 39. So 35.5 to 39, 3.5 inches. 3.5 inches is what it's saying, so that'd be an inch more drop on this truck than what it was on the Ford. So interesting. Guys, so in the end, which truck do I think towed better? Well, just like always, everything has its strong points and its weaker points. The Ford, its strong point was definitely the EcoBoost engine. Just wants to go and has no problem doing it whatsoever. And according to the truck, did it easier on fuel than what the Ram did. The comfort quality, basically the same. Handling, even though the Ram did squat more, I found the Ram felt better. Just braking, handling, steering, even the suspension, even with that extra squat, according to what those numbers are, I found that the Ram felt better. Like I really do. I found it tracked down the road a bit better than what the Ford did. But the Ford will just, I mean, it just pulls, and it doesn't, if you want a quiet towing truck that just does exactly what it's supposed to do, and it doesn't make a scene doing it, just does it with no hesitation whatsoever, the Ford just, that EcoBoost is incredible. Like, it really is. So I don't know. I really don't know. If I was given the option, you got both these trucks, you got that trailer, you got to take this for a 5-hour drive and drop it off. Which truck would I jump in if they were parked side by side? The smart money would tell you to take the Ford because it's easier on fuel, according to the trucks. I really enjoyed driving that Ram. Like, I really enjoy how it drives, how it handles, how it steers. So I honestly think I'd take the Ram. Like, I think it would take the Ram. And it looked good doing it, because I love the way that Ram looks. That's my style of truck. That is, compared to the chrome, this is my look. This is the look I like. Put a set of airbags on the back of that thing and you're set and good to go. But anyway guys, hope the video helps. Any questions at all, hit me up. As always, take care, stay safe, and we will see you next time. Bye.